Another day, another rankings list from a publication to stir up debate and conversation on social media. For the past couple of weeks, Billboard has been counting down their 25 greatest pop stars of the 21st century of the last 25 years. Even though the top 5 is somewhat predictable, I still feel like it'll be fun for us to review Billboard's selection, but first, let's see what went into their selection process. In their honorable mentions article, they explained,
and we must also issue an obligatory reminder that unlike our year-end charts, these greatest pop stars are not mathematically determined by stats like chart position, streams, or sales numbers. Those play a big part in our final rankings, of course. You can't be one of the greatest pop stars of the century without great pop hits and great pop albums, but so do things like music videos, live performances, and social media presence, and more intangible factors like cultural importance, industry influence, and overall omnipresence. And we're measuring this all over 25 years of this century so far. So if you were only heard from at the beginning or the end of the period, or only had one or two big songs, albums, or eras, that's going to significantly hinder your ranking here as well.
So starting with number 25, we have the California girl herself, Katy Perry. I wasn't outside nor old enough during Katy's debut album, Katy Hudson, but I definitely recall when One of the Boys was taken over the radio on MTV in 2008 to 2009. I Kissed a Girl was what really touched the people, but waking up in Vegas changed the game for me and my household. 2 years later, Katy truly changed the course of pop history with her third album, Teenage Dream. What I personally consider the pop Bible, Billboard describes this era as a one-woman home run derby that ultimately made the tremendous success from One of the Boys era look like a couple of practice swings. Teenage Dream was first trumpeted in May 2010 with the arrival of the irresistible California Girls, Jay-Z and Alicia Keys responding Beach Boys and Big Star quoting love letters to the Golden Coast, blessed by no less an esteemed West Side representative than Snoop Dogg. The song was every bit as big and bursting as Perry's One of the Boys singles, and with enough PG-13 content to keep it from getting too bubblegum, but without any of the sneering or snarkiness that punctuated those hits, ensuring nothing stood in the way of its summer dominance. For all the younger people who are not fully aware enough to understand the impact of this album, Teenage Dream had 5 number-1 hit songs, which included California Girls, Teenage Dream, Firework, E.T., Last Friday Night, which became a huge milestone as Katy became the first woman and second person ever behind Michael Jackson to have 5 number-1 singles from one album. Truthfully, I don't care about how much of a flop her most recent album was. Teenage Dream cemented Katy in the pop history books forever, and I think she deserves to be higher on this list. At least number 15, but whatever. On number 24, we have Ed Sheeran. His year 2017 alone definitely earned him an undeniable spot on this list, and I can't disagree at all. That year, aside from having the best-selling album globally with 6.1 million copies sold, he became the first artist to have 2 songs debut in the US top 10 in the same week, and also broke the record for the most top 10 UK singles from one album on the UK singles chart with his Divide album. Along with that, his hit song Shape of You peaked at number 1 on the singles charts of 34 countries, becoming the best performing song of 2017, and also became the first song to hit 2 billion streams on Spotify, and is currently the second most streamed song on the platform with 3.6 billion. And for the icing on the cake, his Divide tour, which began in 2017, became the highest grossing tour of all time in August 2019. I say all this to say, Ed clearly has an impact, sales, and undeniable quality music to confirm that he is one of the greatest pop stars we've ever seen this century. At number 23, we have Bad Bunny, and what was quite surprising to see considering he really popped off in 2018, but for the fact that Benito has been able to attain such massive success in almost 7 years as being a Spanish language only artist is a huge accomplishment. I won't lie, I cannot name you a single Bad Bunny song because I do not listen to his music, but I would be lying to myself if I denied his insurmountable impact and the attention he has brought to Latin American music and beyond. On number 22, we have One Direction. First of all, rest in peace Liam Payne. And secondly, if you were a Directioner from the years 2011 to at least 2015, what were you really doing with your life? One Direction really made those teen years of my life, and I couldn't ask for a better band to be the soundtrack of my life at that time. My iPod really hated to see me coming, replaying that Up All Night album. In all seriousness, I did not think they would make this list because I think the extensive hiatus plus individual success of each of the members has overshadowed the impact the group had during their prime. But looking back, this group was truly a force and was my first personal entry into stan culture and fandom and how cult-like it could truly get. As Billboard perfectly stated in their article, they said, while there is no exact formula for famous success, the Directioners created and normalized a more intense version of stan culture than ever before, one that shadows devotion through chronic online activity and community building all day, every day, which has shaped entire industries like K-pop. And even though One Direction only lasted 5 years as a group, the impact of its discography, ranging from enduring smashes to beloved deep cuts, continues to shape a generation of pop connoisseurs and hold a particularly special place in the hearts of millennials and Gen Zers everywhere. At 21, we have one of the greatest rappers of all time, NOLA's finest, Lil Wayne. He is your favorite rapper's favorite rapper and simply one of the most influential hip-hop artists we have ever seen. I don't care how people view his output the last few years, or most recently his behavior the last few months alone with this whole Super Bowl debacle. Lil Wayne's star power in the years 2005 to 2011 was beyond legendary, as he was leading the conversation as the greatest rapper alive. As Billboard noted, it's tough to believe if you didn't live through it, but Lil Wayne had possibly the greatest peak of any rapper ever circa the Carter 3. While rap titans Kanye West, Jay-Z, and Eminem were dominating, Weezy had perhaps the highest level of respect and general approval rating of his peers, fans, and critics at that point. Ye himself called Wayne his fiercest competition while on stage at the '08 BET Awards. "You scare me, man, every time you spit," West said. This has reminded me that we would probably never see a legendary feature run like Lil Wayne in 2007. The publication Vibe even created a spread of his best songs Lil Wayne dropped that year, without him even dropping his own project. My all-time favorite will always be You by Lloyd, but that type of dedication and love of his craft shown from Wayne definitely cemented him as one of the greatest rappers of all time. During his TV One Uncensored episode, Wayne said, "I was only acknowledged for 77 of them, but nah, it was 100. That's real. That was an amazing moment and an amazing time. That was true. I remember being able to get in my car and turn the radio on, and I don't care if I got the station wrong. I could have switched to a pop station by mistake, and I'm still on that mother effer." Music aside, Lil Wayne proved he is the absolute best in scouting talent, as by the late 2000s, he signed two of the most influential and successful artists who went on to dominate the following decade and a half. I think number 21 is disrespectful, as I think Lil Wayne should be top 10, but hopefully one day the younger generation will realize how we will never see a rapper with the skill set and aura that Dwayne Carter Jr. possessed during his prime. Coming in at number 20 is Bruno Mars, which I think is a fair placement when you consider the fact that he has only 3 solo albums. His output is low, but whenever Bruno decides to release new music, his incomparable showmanship and musicianship guarantees that he is going to grab our attention. 24 Karat Magic was when I became a real fan, and An Evening with Silk Sonic was when I realized that Bruno's vocal and onstage talent far exceeds his peers. I don't hold much weight when it comes to equating how talented an artist is with how many Grammys they have, but Bruno Mars is truly an artist I firmly believe deserves each and every Grammy he has because he's a true musician in every sense of the word. At number 19 is BTS. I don't listen to BTS, but I feel like I have known about them since their inception, as I have friends who have been fans of theirs since the beginning of time. There is no denying their influence for helping to open up the doors for the Korean music market in the West and for broadening Asian visibility and culture globally. I know some of the members are still serving their time in the military, so hopefully when everyone is done, the group will be able to make their long-awaited return to music. Coming in at number 18 is former alternative R&B crooner to pop star, The Weeknd. His musical evolution has been one of the most organic and successful transitions, as even though the genre is slightly different from when he first started, the essence of his signature falsetto, singing the most explicit lyrics have remained the same. His quote-unquote greatness over the past decade as the modern-day blueprint for a male pop star has granted him the forgiveness from the general public for how much of a disaster The Idol was. Despite that career miscalculation, his impact in music has earned him 7 Diamond certified singles, and he is the first artist to simultaneously hold the top 3 spots in the Hot R&B Hip-Hop Songs chart. Additionally, Blinding Lights became the most streamed song in Spotify history, and the best performing song in the Billboard Hot 100's history, and the longest charting song by a solo artist in the chart's history. At number 17, we have Shakira, Shakira. Billboard describes Shakira's greatness by saying, "Today, the 15-time Latin Grammy winner is widely considered the most successful female Latin artist of all time, with 95 million records sold over her 3-decade career. Many of her songs have become more than hits, but rather pivotal cultural moments that showcase her as a multi-dimensional superstar. Shakira has been a staple in my life, and she is a cultural figure. Shakira deserves all of the flowers, and I will forever rank her portion of the Super Bowl in my top 5 Super Bowl halftime performances ever." At 16, we have who I consider the greatest rapper of all time, Jay-Z, which honestly, not much has to be said about how Jay has been able to sustain not only his relevance, but also his coolness over the last almost 30 years. Jigga has been able to successfully transition from a life in the streets to a player, to a record executive, to a businessman, to a family man, and now an OG who is still at the forefront of the music industry. Aside from focusing on his own career, he has played a crucial role in discovering and uplifting artists such as Kanye West, J. Cole, and Rihanna to become superstars in their own right. And he is one half the most powerful couple in the entertainment industry. Music-wise, retired or not, Jay manages to snag a feature that makes his verse one of the most talked about that year. Regardless, I love Jay because literally every single word he rapped about in his verse on the song For the Fam in the year 2000 came true, so how can I not stand? At number 15, we have Miley Cyrus. While some people may not agree with this ranking, myself included, it is important to remember what song most Americans are singing on Independence Day. Party in the USA alone helped to solidify Miley's place in pop culture during her time here on this earth and beyond. Aside from that, as this one person on Reddit stated, I think if you're focusing purely on chart stats, sales, you'd probably be confused to why she's this high, but when you factor in iconography, it's 100% deserved in my opinion. She was the child star icon during a huge renaissance for Disney Channel. She had one of the most defining eras of the 2010s with bangers and still manages to have general public success with flowers to this day. Her music may not be for everyone, but there's no denying her impact. At number 14, we have Justin Timberlake. I am not the biggest JT fan because Team Janet, of course, but those first 3 solo albums are top tier. But I will always give Justin his 10s for the Until the End of Time duet with Beyonce because it's just so heavenly. I don't even know why these girls bother at this point. Like, give it up. The internet can never make me hate Nicki. I don't care. At number 13, we have the queen of rap, Nicki Minaj. Yes, Nicki can be problematic, delusional, strange, and very much erratic, but her ferocious and playfully animated delivery in her lyrics has helped to create a discography and legacy that has yet to be replicated even in the present day age of female rap where the women are dominating the men in hip-hop. Despite not ruling the Billboard charts in the year 2024, Nicki continued to break records on the stage as she earned the highest grossing concert tour by a female rapper of all time with the Pink Friday 2 World Tour. I personally think Nicki deserves to be in the top 10 as her career has inspired and been a guiding force for literally every single female rapper that came after her. As Billboard noted, Nicki Minaj isn't just the greatest female rapper to ever do it and one of the greatest pop stars of this century, she's also one of the key architects of how pop music sounds, how pop fandom functions, and how pop stars are perceived both online and in real life in 2024. Now that's some single-handed annihilation. Word to Itty Bitty Piggy. At number 12, we have Marshall Mathers, also known as Eminem. I don't listen to Eminem at all, but his commercial and mainstream longevity is truly one for the books, and is one that deserves his recognition for how he has been able to appease his core fan base without sacrificing his artistry. At number 11, we have Usher, and I just want to give Usher and whoever his manager is their flowers for reviving his career the last couple of years. Don't get me wrong, Usher has always been huge and an R&B superstar, but with the popularity of his Las Vegas residency, it reminded the casuals that Usher was and will always be a staple in pop culture. His looks, his charm, his voice, his stage presence, coupled with his hit songs, helped to remind the general public that he is truly the last of a dying breed. In terms of male R&B superstars, this year, 2024, marks his 30th anniversary in music and the 20th anniversary of his Diamond Certified 2004 classic, Confessions, and Usher did not waste a single moment or opportunity to reclaim his power, to stand firm in being the legacy act that he has worked tirelessly to cement his place in pop culture history. As we enter the top 10, we have Adele at number 10, which I believe is a fitting placement for someone who goes many years at a time of inactivity. But when she does decide to release new music, she is an absolute force. With the albums 19 and 21 alone, Adele became a legacy act, as 21 still holds the record as the best-selling album of the 21st century with 31 million copies sold. Adele, much like Celine Dion, does not have to do too much on the stage to prove her dominance. Her presence and powerhouse vocals does all of the heavy lifting to prove time and time again that she is 101. At number 9, we have Ariana Grande. From Broadway to TV to becoming a pop icon and now a movie star, Ariana's evolution over the years has been amazing to watch as a fan who has watched Ariana since her Nickelodeon days. With each and every album, Ariana pushes the envelope by bouncing between pop and R&B so seamlessly that allows her to try on various diva-like personas that fit the era she is currently in. Her 2018 was the most memorable and iconic for me as Ariana boldly challenged the usual sonic boundaries with Sweetener and a few months later with the Thank You Next album. As Billboard mentioned, after earning her first #1 song with Thank You Next, Grande became the invincible pop juggernaut that has been promised since her debut. The track's follow-up, The Sound of Music interpolating hip-hop jam 7 Rings, immediately earned Grande her second #1 song. The release of her lauded 5th studio album, Thank You Next, saw Ariana beat Cardi B's record for the most simultaneous top 40 hits by a female artist. She even became the first solo artist in the history of the Hot 100 to simultaneously occupy the #1, 2, 3 spots, and the only act in 55 years to do so since the Beatles. At number 8, we have Justin Bieber. I feel like the fact that a fellow pop star who has yet to be mentioned recruited Justin Bieber to star in his video for his song with DJ Khaled, appropriately titled Pop Star, tells you all that you need to know about the worldwide phenomenon that Justin Bieber is. He is one of the few artists all time who transcended teen stardom, and is a once-in-generation talent that has yet to be replicated in terms of the impact Justin had and still has in the entertainment industry. Despite not releasing an album in the last couple of years, Justin still remains within the top 10 artists of the most monthly listeners on Spotify. For the Bieber fever phenomenon alone, Justin earned his rightful spot at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is Kanye West. Understandably, some people feel their ways towards Kanye for what he has unfortunately become over the last couple of years, but I believe this final paragraph from Billboard perfectly encapsulates what Kanye means to the music industry and how he epitomizes culture and influence.
Still, it's a testament to just how singular that peak run was and how impactful it was on popular music and culture. In countless ways, we can still feel the reverberations of today, others we might not properly understand for decades yet to come, that so many still bother with Kanye at all. Perhaps no other artist since Prince has better matched the Purple One's combination of mold-breaking creativity with record-breaking commercial success, of studio perfectionism and prolificity with spellbinding performance abilities and iconic visuals, of cultural innovation and technological wizardry with personal artistry and deep soulfulness. And like Prince, he can change his name to whatever he wants, but the world will still never ever forget the name Kanye.
Number 6, we have Britney bitch. Honestly, Britney Spears can make an argument for top 3, but considering she has been technically retired the last couple of years, this is a fair placement for the Princess of Pop. Essentially, the musical offspring of MJ and Madonna, Britney was an undeniable fixture in pop culture for at least the first 15 years at the turn of the century, and her influence still reigns supreme in the current generation of pop girlies. As Billboard noted, her impact still remains alive and well in 2024, even shaping a fresh new batch of stars. Just take a look at this year's VMA ceremonies where countless new gen pop talents, including Sabrina Carpenter, Tay McRae, and Megan Thee Stallion, incorporated allusions to classic Britney in their appearances and performances. It's that multi-generational legacy that has helped Spears become one of the few acts to achieve the top 10 hits that span 4 decades, further cementing her legacy as one of pop's greatest. At number 5, we have Lady Gaga, and honestly, there are people who believe she should be number 1, and I'm not mad at that either, because I mean, look at the range, the versatility, the aesthetics. Who else do you know can snag a Best Actress nomination at the Oscars, headline a Super Bowl, do a joint album with Tony Bennett, and simply reinvent her image and output each and every time she pops out? As this one person on Reddit stated, not only is Gaga an absolute star, but she is one of the most versatile artists on the planet, absolutely more than any of the top 4. Look at her current hits and videos out. There is such a major contrast between Die With A Smile and Disease. The last 2 concerts I've seen her in were Chromatical Ball and Vegas Jazz and Piano. It's insane to me that one person can be the weird, kooky pop diva we love, but then also an insanely talented and serious jazz singer. Nobody is doing it like Gaga. At number 4, we have Drake. And it doesn't matter how people currently feel about him at the moment, because of the brutal loss he took in the rap battle of the century, nothing is going to change the fact that he was named the Billboard Artist of the Decade in 2021. Or the fact that he is tied with Michael Jackson with the most number 1 songs of the Billboard Hot 100 for a male artist. Or the fact that for the last 10 years, Drake has remained among the top 5 most streamed artists on Spotify. The metrics, the influence in the fusion of R&B and hip-hop, or more specifically, his year 2018 alone, cemented Drake's legacy and unprecedented commercial impact in music history. At number 3, we have Robyn Rihanna Fenty. And hopefully this is a safe space because I think she deserved the number 1 spot. Just looking at her Wikipedia opening paragraph tells you all that you need to know about what she has been able to accomplish all before the age of 30. She is noted as the best-selling female recording artist of the 21st century by Guinness World Records and the second wealthiest in the world. Rihanna is the highest certified female digital artist and has 6 U.S. Diamond certified singles, 7 as a featured artist. She has achieved 14 number 1 singles on the Billboard Hot 100. The recipient of various accolades, Rihanna is one of the best-selling recording artists ever, with sales estimated at 250 million units globally. Do you guys know how insane these stats are? Rihanna came to this country as a teenager with a dream and drive and has dominated ever since and has been able to create a billion-dollar empire away from the music industry while still maintaining her relevance and significance even almost 9 years removed from releasing an album. Seeing Rihanna's evolution in the 20 years since her debut has been one of my favorite stories in music history, and I'm thankful I am a part of the generation who actually remembers and lived through Rihanna's iconic pop star era. At number 2, we have Taylor Swift, which I mean, she was either going to be number 2 or number 1, and I am not surprised by this ranking because Taylor epitomizes the complete definition of the word pop star. Personally, what is most important in defining the term pop star is being able to transform and evolve from era to era, and overall just enjoying what you are doing. When I see Taylor, I see a true artist who cares about making records, albums, bodies of work that stand the test of time. Her admiration for her craft is honorable, and I can tell she lives and dies by her pen and her guitar. Taylor has literally single-handedly boosted the economy over the last 2 years, as the U.S. Travel Association estimated that the total impact of Swift's Eras tour in the U.S. could exceed $10 billion in revenue. Her impact since at the earliest 2008 is one to be documented in the history books, and Taylor really deserves her 10 for 1989 alone. Like, let's be serious. At the time of this video, the number 1 greatest pop star of all time has not been announced yet, but anyone with a brain knows is the Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter. I mean, The way Beyonce's own peers praise and recognize her influential impact in music in her almost 30 years in the industry is unparalleled. She helped to engineer the modern day songs of female empowerment from Independent Women, Run the World, Formation, and so many more songs that encourage her listeners to embrace their individuality and uniqueness. Her visual storytelling, along with her live performances, has altered the way artists disseminate their messages through their art. Beyonce was already a certified superstar when I Am Sasha Fierce came out in 2008, but with the release of Lemonade in 2016, it cemented Beyonce as a cultural icon who was able to flawlessly address topics both celebrating Black culture and subjects centered around socio-political issues affecting the Black community. It is a revolutionary and deeply personal record that pushed the boundaries of artistic expression, that united the general public and the music industry in praising the depths of Beyonce's rich musical craftsmanship. I will never forgive the Grammys for not giving her Album of the Year for this album. All in all, I think this is a great comprehensive rankings, and I mostly agree with everything, though I believe Bruno Mars should be way higher. I do want to give a shout out to the honorable mentions such as Missy Elliott, 50 Cent, Kelly Clarkson, and Kendrick Lamar, who deserve to be on this list as well for their significant musical contributions. But overall, I think Billboard got it right. Please let me know in the comments what you all think of this list in its entirety. Who do you think should have been higher or lower, or who do you think was unfairly snubbed? Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell, and I'll see you next time.